Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and all of our honored visitors gathered here today, it is a truly remarkable privilege and a distinct pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this very special occasion.
Journalists, thank you for the warm support we have received here since our arrival in Ouagadougou for the 13th joint session, and farewell here in Ouagadougou. Cooperation between our two countries had been dormant, and this lasted for 8 years. And that is why our respective presidents, namely Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the President of Ghana, Mahama, have decided in 2025 to revive this cooperation. We have therefore moved forward with the discussions that took place here, and these discussions culminated in the signing of several agreements. And among these agreements is the one concerning driver's licenses. We know that along the Tema-Ouagadougou corridor, there are always issues at that level, and our drivers have complained about this many times. And this agreement helps to boost intra-African trade. And you know that the ZDKF is located in our country, in Ghana, and that is why we are setting an example through this agreement. There was also an agreement on road transport and transit. There was also a framework agreement that was signed. Furthermore, in this regard, it must be noted that these various elements have helped us make progress in further strengthening our ongoing cooperation. There was also an agreement signed concerning the cultivation and manufacture of narcotics. It must be said that at this level, it is a major step forward, because we see that these drugs and narcotics are affecting our youth, and at the same time, it affects their future. That is why Ghana and Burkina Faso have decided not to become a dumping ground that would trample on the future of young people, hence the signing of this agreement. It was, I want to assure you, a fruitful session, and we will report back to our respective heads of state, and we will ensure the implementation of these agreements that have been signed. As we bring our work to a close today, I would also like to solemnly reaffirm my deep and enduring attachment to this country and express my strongest possible condemnation of the tragic attack that took place in Titao, where both of our countries suffered the loss of several of their citizens. We will strengthen our cooperation in terms of security, and we want to further strengthen our cooperation in this area. And we take this opportunity to thank Burkina Faso through the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burkina Faso for the swift intervention that took place to evacuate our compatriots back to the country. Thank you. And before I finish, I would also like to once again express my sincere condolences.
Thank you.
Today marks the final stage, which has been concluded by the signing of the various instruments he mentioned earlier. This concerns mutual recognition. As he mentioned, it is allowed, and it is quite important for our two countries. Because one of the complaints we regularly witness is the obstacles, the administrative procedures. I think that any cooperation that aims to be objective and results-oriented must always work to make things easier on both sides. It is in this very spirit that the two teams came together to think about the best possible mechanisms to allow drivers to suffer significantly less. This means fewer administrative procedures and less daily paperwork. This was formalized by the signing of this instrument through which we find ourselves. The two states mutually commit to recognizing each other's driving licenses. We have also signed 6 other instruments that concern both cross-border cooperation and consultation mechanisms between the administrations of the two countries. I must say that there is already excellent work being done on the ground, and this is also an opportunity to commend the spirit of collaboration. Administrative officials from both Ghana and Burkina Faso have never stopped communicating, meeting, and exchanging views on issues. Nothing has prevented this. The signing provides a solid framework for this instrument and creates an environment of calm. This allows these stakeholders to work on issues related to cross-border cooperation. He also mentioned an instrument concerning humanitarian issues and gender issues. As you are well aware, in today's world of increasingly extreme weather conditions, environmental hazards are no longer just hypothetical possibilities. We have come to understand that over the course of 2 or 3 regular seasons, there will inevitably be periods that are significantly more risky and unpredictable than others. These risks arise whether through floods, droughts, or other effects, which impact the population. Burkina Faso and Ghana have always worked hand in hand in managing these disasters, but we lacked legal references. Today, this is an opportunity to create a framework that organizes the interventions of the actors involved in this sector. We have also worked on this instrument concerning drug trafficking, narcotics, and other illicit medicines. You know that the customs authorities of both countries are doing an excellent job. The customs of Burkina Faso have always done so. They have achieved results. Admirable results when it comes to fighting illicit trafficking and those medicines that are targeted at our children, at our brothers. The idea is that we can strengthen the legal framework and allow these 2 countries to work together, to sanitize the environment and allow young people to grow up in a healthy environment. And in a simple spirit, for us, this signing is a big step forward. Experts will also work to finalize the instruments regarding the reaffirmation of our borders. This is very, very important in the sense that it allows administrations to work together. In the mutual recognition of what belongs to us, these are merely administrative borders. But I believe that in practice, we are used to seeing Ghana in this way, working in a spirit of integration. I am personally a witness to what is happening on the ground between the traditional chiefs, between the financial authorities, who collaborate and work closely together to create a shared space between our 2 countries. So I would say that this joint commission, beyond the agreements we have signed, is a signal. A signal to the people of Burkina, to the people of Ghana, to say that we have leadership. A shared leadership. We have shared visions among the leaders of our countries. We are aware of a shared future that we must work on hand in hand. I would like to take this opportunity to greet and thank you, the authorities of Ghana, the delegation present here, and all the experts who worked to ensure that these agreements could be finalized. As he mentioned, signing is good, but we truly need to implement them. That is what is expected. This is a step, and for us this step is the first rung of the ladder that we must climb together. We have several more steps to take in order to bring to fruition these agreements that we have signed and committed to together. The commitment to ensure that in the very near future we can give meaningful substance, not just in what we have declared today, but in the daily lives of our people, so that they can truly feel the impact.
What if Africa stopped waiting for permission? What if African nations started solving African problems together? What if borders became bridges and cooperation became our new weapon? Today, something historic happened in West Africa. Ghana and Burkina Faso, 2 proud African nations, sat at the same table not to beg, not to borrow, not to be lectured, but to build. This is not just diplomacy. This is not just paperwork. This is Africa rewriting its own future. Ghana has just sent shockwaves across ECOWAS and beyond by signing strategic agreements with Burkina Faso. These agreements cover security, transport, borders, disaster management, and cooperation. And the message is loud and clear. Africa is done being divided. Africa is choosing unity, strategy, and sovereignty. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is bigger than 2 countries. This is the blueprint of the new Africa. The Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ghana, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, held high-level talks with his Burkinabè counterpart, His Excellency Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré, during a 2-day official visit to Burkina Faso. He also met with the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, His Excellency Rimtalba Jean Emmanuel Ouédraogo. But this wasn't just a courtesy visit. This was strategic. This was deliberate. This was Pan-African in spirit. At the heart of their discussions were three major realities: security in the Sahel and West Africa, humanitarian and disaster challenges, deep institutional and cross-border cooperation. In simple words, they didn't come to talk. They came to build systems. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Security. The Sahel and West Africa have suffered from terrorism and violent extremism. Too many families have cried. Too many communities have been displaced. Too many futures have been interrupted. Ghana and Burkina Faso didn't pretend this problem doesn't exist. They condemned the recent terrorist attacks. They sent condolences to affected families. And most importantly, they agreed to design and implement a strengthened bilateral security framework. This framework is to fight terrorism and violent extremism together. This is critical because for too long, Africa's security has been outsourced. Outsourced to foreign armies. Outsourced to foreign agendas. Outsourced to people who don't pay the price when Africans bleed. But now, the mindset is changing. African problems need African coordination, African intelligence, and African solutions. This Ghana-Burkina Faso cooperation is not about dependency. It is about shared responsibility. Security is not only about guns and soldiers. Security is also about life. Every year, communities in northern Ghana suffer because of the spillage from the Bagré Dam. Homes are destroyed. Farms are flooded. Livelihoods are washed away. This time, Ghana and Burkina Faso didn't treat it like just another problem. They agreed to build a reinforced partnership on disaster prevention, early warning systems, crisis response coordination. This is smart governance. This is African planning. This is proactive leadership, not reactive politics. Instead of waiting for tragedy, they are choosing prevention. Instead of blaming each other, they are choosing coordination. This is how a serious continent behaves. Now, let's break down what they actually signed. Because this is where the real revolution is. They reactivated the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation (PG) and signed 7 major agreements. 1. Mutual recognition of driver's licenses. This means movement becomes easier. Trade becomes faster. People become more connected. 2. Agreement on transport and road transit. This means smoother logistics, lower costs, stronger regional trade. 3. Framework agreement on cross-border cooperation. This means borders become zones of cooperation, not tension. 4. MO on periodic consultation between border authorities. This means problems are solved by talking early, not fighting later. 5. Joint Commission to reaffirm the border. This prevents future disputes. This creates clarity. This builds long-term stability. 6. Cooperation on disaster and humanitarian crisis management. This saves lives. This saves time. This saves futures. 7. Agreement on fighting drugs and illicit trafficking. This protects youth. This protects societies. This protects the next generation. Taken together, these are not just agreements. They are infrastructure for unity. They are systems for sovereignty. They are tools for a serious Africa. Why is this such a big deal? Because Africa is entering a new phase. A phase where countries are no longer waiting for instructions. A phase where cooperation is not just talk but implementation. A phase where regional strength matters more than foreign approval. This Ghana-Burkina Faso move shows something important. Africa doesn't need to be united in speeches. Africa needs to be united in systems. Security systems, transport systems, disaster systems, border systems, trade systems. This is how you build real integration. Not by slogans, not by summits alone, but by working agreements that touch people's daily lives. Today, Ghana and Burkina Faso didn't just sign papers. They signed a statement to Africa, a statement that says, we can cooperate, we can plan, We can protect our people. We can manage our borders. We can fight our own battles. We can build our own systems. This is the Africa we've been waiting for. Not an Africa that reacts, but an Africa not an Africa that begs, but an Africa that builds. Not an Africa that is divided, but an Africa that coordinates. If more African countries follow this path, then the dream of a strong, united, sovereign Africa will stop being a dream and start being reality.
Thank you.